Is it like cricket a little bit? I'm not sure. Go ahead and take stage.
Can we get Sigma to the stage?
Hey, I'm gonna see how it looks when I'm on stage.
This is a new video. So that's what. That's it? You good? Yeah.
We have the Seaman Streets in the building. Team a little bit south of Polk County, but still 863. Thank you guys for coming up. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Good morning, Coach Scott. Next Felix.
Slide, power up.
Travis Kearney. I'm Courtney Watson. Josiah Taylor. Lexus Felix. CJ Dale. Again, go Coach Scott. Coach Taylor.
Again, thank you guys for coming up. Last year you guys had a pretty good season. Made a little playoff run. I believe second round of the playoffs. How do you build on a season like that going into the season, trying to advance past that point?
Well, I think obviously the year before we had even more success, and then we wanted to obviously reach the state finals, and that didn't happen. We had an early exit, and so I think that recharged these guys, recharged the coaches, and I think we're all fired up this year that we got that ultimate goal. And so I think not having as much success as we wanted to has made us hungrier.
Coach, you had two of the best seasons that you guys have had the last couple of years. Now you got a chance to beat back Merritt Island last year, a team that prevented you from going to state the year before. Jensen Beach beat you in a tough game. What motivated you guys from losing that tough game like that, knowing that you could have advanced on to the next round, had a chance to at least get to state?
Well, I'm gonna let the young men also speak on it, but I know for me, it just, like I said, it just refueled the fire and kind of came back going to where, sometimes you feel like maybe you can lose a little bit of an edge because now you reached that point, but then next thing you know, now you get the disappointment, and now it refuels you, to recharge, to get back to where we know we can be. We know that now. And Sebring for a long time was the team that everybody called for homecoming, and they don't no longer do that.
I feel like losing those big games and going into the playoffs, obviously we want to go to state, we want to win state, and we have that caliber team this year to go make that playoff run. And losing that game, I know for all of us it hurt us. It hurt us a lot, and all these guys you see here, we're obsessed with the game, and obsession beats talent every time. If you're obsessed with the game, all you think about is football, working out, and being the best player you can for your teammates, right? So every night we go to sleep dreaming about the game and think about what we're gonna do. And this whole off season, we've just had this fire, just ready to let everything out, especially because it's our senior season. So we're gonna leave it all on the field, and hey man, I'll put my life down on that field for these boys every day, without a doubt, in my heart, because I love these guys, and like we say, every day I practice, we going to state this year, without a doubt. Gotta have that confidence.
For me, them game, we use that for motivation for the team. Help us to have that fire in the weight room, on the field. Help us just every time that we have that doubt, help us to just be motivated. Give it our all every rep. You never know, it could be your last rep. Never know.
For me, I remember like right after we lost, CJ Dell to the left of me, he was like, right after we lost, he was like, man, from now on out, man, we're gonna tighten them boys up. We gotta lock in, cause we gotta go to state. So like, ever since that day, everybody been locked in. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the loss, it left a sour taste in our mouth, like real bad. Like none of us want to feel that ever again. So like from the point we got to the off season, we made sure we took care of every little thing and made sure everything was straight and in place, so we won't have to worry about that.
Sorry, Taylor. Just following around for a couple of years now. Congratulations on your recent commitment to USF. What's some of the things you've been doing in the off season to stay focused and stay hungry after making that?
I've been putting in the extra work. And I put in a lot of work, But the main thing I did was make sure like these boys stay locked in and helping the younger guys out. So that's really the main thing I've been doing.
On your game, what you been working on your game?
Game, quickness, lateral quickness. That's basically it.
You guys return Travis Kearney, the bulk of the offensive production. How is the offense looking this season, and how are you being a leader?
Offense looking pretty good, I'm being a leader by just making sure everybody know what they're doing, everybody know their assignment, tightening everybody up. They make a mistake, I let them know so it will happen in the game, That way we can be firing on all cylinders.
And you play both sides of the ball, right?
Yes, sir.
In college, what would you prefer to play, offense or defense?
Offense.
Okay, because you had 800 yards. Is this going to be a 1,000-yard season?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
I got a question for CJ. In my opinion, DB is one of the toughest, if not the toughest position on the field.
Yes, sir.
So what's some of the things you've been working on, during the off season to show you a dog this season?
Being more physical, not open the gate so wide, and I've been working on my off man coverage as well. Trying to learn on that catch technique a lot in the red zone. It's definitely gonna help me.
And it's a few of you guys that are Division I prospects. Getting to the next level is the goal for a lot of guys who play high school football. It's all about getting to that next level. Like CJ, Travis, Josiah, of course. How are you guys bringing that Division I style culture into the locker room?
It's a mentality, so when younger boys see us, how we act and how the things we do, it kind of just be a whole environment for everybody. It's not just us,
Turning them boys up, coming ready to work, like coming with enthusiasm to every workout, coming hype, happy for no reason, and just ready to work.
Yeah, like we tighten them boys up. They look up to us. Yeah.
I got one for the coaches, man. You guys got some firepower on offense, some manpower on defense. But in high school, it's the trenches that can make or break you. How's that unit looking this season?
Yeah, without a doubt, that means the most for me. And me me, the 7-on-7 stuff, I can't stand it, but I know you need it. I'm a trenches guy, and that's what we work a lot, and that's the silent killer, you know, because they don't get the hype. Everybody talk about the linebackers, receivers, quarterbacks, all that kind of stuff, but nobody talks about them guys, no matter what their size is. Like you looking at the guy next to me, his heart is big as a 6'8", 300 pounder, you know what I mean? But like we know that's what's gonna lead this team. That's been the staple of Sebring anyway. We're gonna be physical. They're like gonna be more physical than us and inside the trenches. And then we bring them from the back level also. So that's my deal right there. Yes, and I think too, I want to overemphasize that too. Like offensively, obviously we have Travis, but we got a couple guys that's gonna sneak up on y'all too. I'm gonna just let that be like that.
Also with that, Coach, we do have a lot of experience on the offensive line, varsity experience. So that's really going to benefit us when it comes down to what y'all getting ready to see.
Coach, how much, obviously you're a graduate of the school, so this is your program. I mean, I know you take a lot of pride, you and Larry and the entire family have grown up. What does it mean to you to see this program finally getting on the map? Because I know that for years before you went to the University of Miami, I mean, you were the guy. There wasn't a lot of other guys that got the notoriety, but now as you look up here, all these young men are getting a lot of publicity, going to the University of South Florida, being looked at for schools. What does that mean to you as a graduate?
That means everything to me, because when I first moved back home, you know, because I was coaching in Miami, and I felt God brought me home to Sebring High School, and then I was an assistant coach, and then once he gave me an opportunity to be the head coach, I said, God, now if you got this for me, then you're gonna carry me through this, and you're gonna help me change this program. And it was tough. We went through the years where we were 4-6, and but now, like you said, we're at a different level. But for more than me, it was bigger than the winning. My main goal was to be able to see kids get in college. I wanted kids to experience what I experienced at the University of Miami, and not all of them can go to that level. But I wanted them all to be able to get that experience and get a further education. And that's something that I take more pride in than the winning, to be honest. When we have these kids sign, no matter if it's NAIA, junior college, D3, I don't care. We're gonna get the freak out of Sebring. We're gonna go somewhere, we're gonna be able to, be able to come back if you wanna come back. If not, you're gonna be successful. And so that's what I do take more pride in, but the winning has come because again, if we build great men, you'll win. You'll win. You build guys with character, guys that care about their academics, care about where their freaking pants are, and care about their, the personal life. We'll win, and that's been the biggest thing. And that's how we lead these young men. It's not about the win, but it'll come. It's a byproduct.
Similar question for the seniors, man. How important is it to go out on top? Larry mentioned those couple hard days the last couple of seasons. How important is it to win this senior year?
I feel like it's very important, and I feel like we all want to go out on our senior season and win the state. And I feel like this year, especially this year, it's been a different vibe than other years. We've all noticed that, and especially with our confidence, going to practice and just saying we're going to state, manifesting it, you have to believe it. You have to believe it in your heart that you're going to go to state, and that's how we think. So every rep, every time we go to practice, we pour it out. We leave it all on the field, on the practice field, and everything. We go home, we're tired, because we leave it all. We truly do. You go home and I mean, you just go straight to bed because you're just that tired. But these guys work, and our coaches harder than us. Always studying the playbook and helping us, finding little crooks and crannies for us to, have a little edge and just have the best game, put the best game on the field every Friday night. So definitely, man, it's very important that we go far this year. It means a lot to all of us. So yeah, you guys gonna have to make sure you guys stay around and look, because man, we gonna make some crazy plays.
Yeah, very important actually from all the work that we put in this offseason, the maturity level that we've gotten to, you know. I feel like just the year is very important to us.
You know, I feel like it's important because we all got a huge goal to try to get the state, and we all put in a lot of work this year and on the offseason.
Yeah, we all locked in, and like ever since we was like 5 years old, we've been saying it like our 12th grade year we're gonna take over, and I think that's what we about to do.
I think we looking forward to finishing the deal. Like when we were freshmen, we went and seen teams go undefeated. Sophomores, we went to regionals. Junior season, we went back-to-back district. Like we ready to finish the deal this the year.
And we know every day is important, but what's that one y'all got circled on the schedule?
Lake Wells, baby. Lake Wells, man. All day, every day, man. I go to sleep thinking about that team, man. Lake Wells for sure.
CCC 2, only be the one time my whole high school career we got to get them again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Coach, talk about the Lake Wells. I mean, I first covered Lakeville Sebring 30 years ago, and it was when Ronnie LePet was coaching, and it was a one-sided game or something. And now it seems like it's a nice, you know, I don't know what kind of rivalry, but I mean, you've had some good teams, I've had good teams or something. What does that game mean to you?
Well, I mean, we're not in Polk County, so nobody really wants to consider it rivalry, but at the end of the day, it's been back and forth with us with Lake Wells. I think it was one point we had won like 3 straight, and they won the last 2 games. But you know, not to really go back to last year, but when you think about what they were able to accomplish, and for the simple fact that we gave up less than 100 yards to them, you know, it burned these guys up to know that if we don't throw 2 pick six, who knows these young men's mind. And so, hey, whatever it takes to motivate them, whatever they got going on when they're in that weight room we're working, I let it fuel the fire. You know, but for me as a coach, every game matters to me. You know, but you know these are young men, and so what they got going, I let it go. And LW is at the top of the list, and so we in Polk County, we saying it. We don't back down. It was years ago when Seaman wouldn't say that kind of stuff, but now we can do that, and we know we're gonna be able to show up and put that performance on the field too.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for coming. If you don't have any closing remarks, we definitely want to wish you guys good luck this year. We definitely will be covering Sebring this season with it being in the 863, and definitely will be at that Lake Wells game. You guys played them very tough last year. Probably the toughest game they played last year was against Sebring. So again, thank you guys, and we wish you luck.
Yes, sir. We appreciate everybody that's here today and giving us coverage, and all these young men and these coaches. You know, we all work hard. It's been a long off season, and it's going to be a long season. But again, we just appreciate anything that y'all can do for these young men and get them out there, notice, and help them in college and all that good stuff. So we appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Good luck.
We coming. Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Came all the way up to see you.
I'll shoot him a phone call.
Just y'all three? Just y'all?
Don't go in 1 minute. 60 seconds. You gotta speed it up.
Probably 5:30 in the middle of it, and it was rough. Same. Yeah, luckily after about an hour.
When I got to Lewis, there wasn't so bad.
Good morning. Good morning. We're going to go ahead and get started. We have Lake Gibson Braves on the stage, led by Coach Pringle. We'll go ahead and let you guys introduce yourself.
Quinn Moore, class of 2024 linebacker.
Cordell Lewis, class of 2024 receiver.
Jalen Evans, class of 2024 D-Town.
And Coach Pringle, I'm the head coach going into my second year at Lake Gibson.
Thank you guys for coming. We definitely appreciate you guys being here. I want to start off by asking Coach Pringle, you love to schedule a tough season. Last season was probably one of the toughest schedules in Polk County history. You went ahead and followed up with it this year. What attracts you about those big time games?
There's a couple different things. First off, I think ultimately our goal every year going in is to make the state championship. And you've got to schedule a tough season to be ready when the actual playoffs roll around, because in the playoffs, it's every week matters, every game matters. It's when they're going. And so I like to schedule so we're already challenged by the time we get to the playoffs. Additionally, I think big games bring the best out of big players. I think there's a tendency for guys to kind of play down to lesser opponents and play up to better opponents. And so I want to get the best I can out of these guys. Plus, ultimately the goal is for the guys that we have, they want to go and play college football. And by scheduling quality teams week in, week out, their film is going to be, they're going to take note of their film when college coaches look at it, because they know. I mean, last year we played 4 teams ranked in the top 100 in the country. So they know that when they look at our film.
Coach, you got a lot of firepower on the offense. We're gonna get into that a little bit later, but you got, the 2 potential Division I defensive players up here right now. So just talk about that unit. You're a defensive guy, so how are you proud of you of that group in the off season, and what do you expect out of them going into the fall?
Our defense, both of our units are going to be a lot better than I think people are giving us credit for. Defensively, yeah, I'm a defensive guy, and in particular, a linebacker guy. So having a leader on our team like Quentin Moore, who I think is one of the most underrated linebacker prospects in the country. It's a blessing to have, because we're running mob, mix, match, stubby, stump, all the same stuff that they're going to see on Saturdays when they watch. And that helps with their recruiting. It's a little more complex to learn, but our guys, especially being second year in the system, they're picking it up, they're running with it. We just did a padded camp where we played against some really good teams at the padded camp that we went to. We had DeLand there with Coach Darlington and Vero Beach, some other really good teams. And defensively, we were more than holding our own against every team that we went against. Our guys can adjust on the fly, they're fast, and that's what it's about. It's getting them to know the defense well enough that they're not thinking, they're just playing football. Offensively, like you said, we do got a ton of firepower on that offense. We've got, realistically, probably 5 wide receivers that should play at the next level, and some of them are underclassmen, so they're going to be good for a while. Our quarterback, obviously, Joel Morris, 2026, one of the top 2026 quarterbacks in the state of Florida, if not in the country, and he can do it all. He's a mobile pro style, and he has a year. He's had this offseason to really develop those skills that we require. So we're excited for the season. Like I said, it's still a tough schedule. We're not going to back down from anybody, and I think if we actually can kind of tighten up a few things, we should be running late into the season. That's a reason why when I give them their schedule, the schedule goes all the way out to December 17th. Every year when I give them the initial schedule, it goes all the way out to the state championship, because every year that should be the expectation.
Coach, playing off of that, and I want you to let the players answer this as well. I run into you a lot in the offseason, and I know it's important for you, whether it be at USF or be anywhere that you guys have gone. How helpful is that? Because you're going up, as you mentioned, you're going up against DeLand, you're going up against the Vero Beach team a lot of people are talking about as being one of the best teams, and more than holding your own. How much does that do to the confidence for all of you moving into the season, to be able to compete in the off season against some of the best?
I just feel like he's more than prepared us to be ready for it. With the coverages we do, the scheming, everything, he makes us prepared. We don't have to be scared of the opponents.
Gives you more confidence.
Yeah, it gives us more confidence. It's not hard for us to latch on to what we're supposed to do. We just know what to do.
I say confidence-wise, it helps us a lot. It also motivates us, because sometimes there's days where we're tired, and there's also days where we just aren't feeling it. And it shows that even against the best, like Vero Beach and Edgewater and Dayland, we can compete, and actually make a run further into even states. So I just love that we have the chance to like that every time, because it brings out.
And those patty camps are no joke. You're knocking heads and stuff like that.
Yes, it's very fun, very helpful.
I'm gonna go off what he said. Basically, yeah, the motivation. Yeah, if we play better teams, it help our confidence go away a lot higher than we used to.
And from my perspective, going against the best prepares them for the best. Going to all the camps, that one puts them in front of the college coaches that, quite frankly, when you look at the 3 guys we got up here, aren't being recruited nearly as hard as they should be, in my opinion. And we got a bunch of other guys on the roster that are in the same boat. Because every single week, we're putting them against good competition, and they're shining. And I think when the season is done, people are going to see that the off-season work, the going to a hard camp, and then the schedule that we scheduled is going to pay off.
Take it easy on my alma mater.
You mentioned earlier Quentin Moore, one of the most underrated prospects, not even locally, but in the country. Quentin has been a long-time featured piece on the Lake Gibson defense. How do you let a guy like that lead your younger guys, and guys like Marshawn and Casey Dash, who are seem to be the stars of tomorrow? How do you let a guy like Quentin lead those guys?
I think saying let a guy like that lead him is misleading in itself. You don't let a guy lead; they just lead. Leaders lead. That's what they do. Quentin is one of those kids that you're gonna have a leader. He's going to be a leader. He's gonna call him out when he needs to. He's gonna pump him up when he needs to. He's gonna bring him down a peg or two when he needs to. he does everything right on and off the field. So he leads by example. So whether or not he were vocal, it wouldn't matter because he's leading by his example. And that's really what we're trying to teach these guys, is that leadership is about doing right all the time, even when no one's looking. And he's one of those guys that just does it. So it's easy for him, it's easy for the guys to look up to him. Plus, he's been a Brave. He's Brave through and through. So there is no question on loyalty, there is no question on anything. Everybody knows he is here to make the Braves the best team they can be through his leadership and through his actual on-field play.
Question for Cordell, man. You're one of the more underrated wide receivers of the state. So, you know, I've been following you during the offseason. You've been making a lot of noise during that time period. So, how important is this season to show everybody that you're really that dude on the field when you put the pads on?
I feel as if it's very important this season for me to do that, especially coming off of last year and how late in the season I started making myself known. I feel as if showing that I can do it, whether it's in pads or not in pads, will be very impactful on my recruitment, like you said, because I feel like being underrated now just motivates me every day to wake up and get better, because I don't really listen to a lot of people that let it get to their head. I just don't allow it to get in my head, because I know at the end of the day, regardless of who player who lines up in front of me, I know what I can do and I can show everybody that.
Rich, what excites you going into this season with a year behind you compared to last season, which was being deferred?
Having a full off season is one of the things that excites me the most. I didn't actually get officially hired until 2 days before spring football last year, so it was kind of drinking from a fire hose for both the players and for me. A lot of transition, and that always makes it hard. The seniors last year, they were on their third head coach in 4 years. I came back, and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So having a full off season, working with these guys, leadership things, and then the other thing that excites me is we have a enormous senior class, over 30 kids in our senior class, and with that, we also have a lot of young talent that's going to both play and produce this year as well. So with the senior leadership that we have and the overall talent from top to bottom that we have, it's just an exciting year knowing that we're going in to this season prepared because we've had that full off season to grow and build as a team.
And then on the opposite side, what's your biggest concerns that going into the season?
Biggest concerns going into the season, I mean, honestly, I think every coach in the country will tell you your depth is always, I mean, we have some good depth, but there are certain areas where you want them tightened up. I always, like, my two very talented, but let's get our offensive line to kind of merge together as a single entity, and then defensive line-wise, extremely talented, one of the most talented defensive fronts I've coached since I've lived in Florida. More complex reads are a little bit more difficult, and to get fine-tuned and to learn the program, to learn the system, because as a sophomore, he is a team leader regardless of anything else because he is our starting quarterback. And so he's had that year so that they trust when the game's on the line and he's got to make that throw. Every single one of our guys knows and trusts that if we need him to do that, he can do it.
I got one big country, right? You know what I'm saying? How's this offseason been for you? You know what I'm saying? Going against guys like, you know, Tristan Black, TJ Lane, Marshall on the whole line. How's this offseason been for you? You had a good spring game, and, you know, made some sacks. I remember that. How important is this for you to be a leader on that D-line?
You know, it's been good. The boys on the O-line, they've been giving me that word, that extra word, like pushing me to go harder. So I'm just going on winning streak this year.
Personally, what's some of the things? Okay.
What's some of the things you're working on here? Handwork, your speed, you know, what's some of the things you're working on?
And what are you guys' expectations for this season? How do you guys bounce back from a season like last year, going forward to the playoffs? How do you guys bounce back?
We've been working hard. We've been working.
I feel feel as if last year one of our having more leaders on the team outside of the four captains really helps the team when it comes to a harder schedule like last year. So we have more guys bought in, and I feel as if this year, the young guys or the seniors, we just have the team to do it this year. And it's big, it will be monumental for the years. And it could be the year, and regardless of our schedule, regardless of who we play, this year could be the year, and I really think it is the year.
I just feel like the truth it all comes down to like I feel we can go all the way like even last year I feel we can go all the way. I mean, it was just like leadership, like what they always said. If we just get that together, I think we can be great.
Obviously, Lakeland's a big game. What other game on your schedule you guys kind of circling that you're really excited to play?
I think we will do.
I'd probably say Lake Wales too. B County, forget Lake Wales. B County. Last year,
I feel the same way at Lee County, and one of the big reasons for me is because Florida.
Well, that's all we have today for you guys. Again, thank you for coming. We definitely wish you guys the most luck next year. I live on the north side of Lakeland, so I'm located at Lake Gibson area. Again, thank you guys and good luck.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Good morning. We got the Mulberry Panthers here. You guys look good in your new jerseys. We'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourself.
Devin Bridges, I play strong safety, senior.
Jermaine Willis, I play O-line, D-line, senior.
Kaden Nichols, outside linebacker.
Tim Jones, linebacker, senior.
Cedric Conley, DB, free safety, junior.
Coach, right off the bat, playoffs, which was important to get this team, acclimated and ready for a big run for the future. Talk about that and what it meant to this school. Obviously, Bishop Moreau was a really good football program, and I understand that. But for your team, a team that's trying to establish yourself and trying to get into that mix, how big was that?
That was a key point, and I agree with you. We as a coaching staff felt it was very, very important for us to at least achieve that goal and get into the playoffs. Now, I can honestly say our players were starstruck when they took the field to Bishop Moreau and with all the fancy design and how they came out and everything else. Psychologically, our kids were just not prepared for that. But that's something that we build on from that point on. And our kids have been exposed. We went to a grinded out camp, team camp, played against against Sumter County, which has 4,500 students to choose from, very big and physical up front. Schools to prepare our kids for that type of competition. And we went and competed for the first time in years in the 7-on-7 Billy Deeds County Championships. So our kids have been given the opportunity to see what that challenge is like. And they've taken it on head on and accepted that and really thrive to do well against it and look forward to it. So, Russ.
This is for, coaches and the players, but, I grew up late, so I know Mulberry, because you kind of left out of the conversation sometimes when you talk about Polk County, right? So what's some of the things you guys are working on to gel that chemistry and moving forward, bouncing off last season?
Well, that was one of the things that, I guess I'm, going to reveal some of the things I'm going to use in the crying towel, but, we feel that way too at Mulberry. We're sort of left in Lake Wales and some of the other schools, and everybody forgets about Mulberry, but there's some pretty good players that play at Mulberry and have in the past. I mean, the Smith kid that's playing in Georgia was getting offers when he was at Mulberry. He didn't have to go to Lakeland to get offers. The starting center that played last year for Coastal Carolina, that transferred in from Coastal Carolina, has had a pretty good career that was getting offers when he was at Mulberry. So Mulberry has produced some players. Our job as a coaching staff is to keep the players at Mulberry and then get some kids. So we've been fortunate this year. We've got a bunch of kids in that have been maybe second stringers at some other schools, but want the opportunity to play, that are going to have the opportunity to play. And at Mulberry and the competition level we play, I'm not saying it's less, because we're still only choosing from 12 or 1,300 students. So it all pans out and evens out, but we've got a pretty good football team this year. It's going to surprise some people, and we're anxious to get out and play it and take one game at a time. But we're excited. We're anxious to show that these guys have had a great summer in the weight room. We average between 38 and 48 kids every day, Monday through Thursday, and did that consistently until this past Tuesday. And so I gave them the last 4 days off to go enjoy summer, go to the beach, do what they needed to do. But we've gotten physically stronger. We're anxious as coaches. So what have we done? We lived up to our end of the deal as well. We've remodeled our locker room, new floor, new paint, LED lights, ambiance for game day atmosphere is going to be pretty hyped at Mulberry. We're going to have a new entry with augers and smoke and the band leading us out on, and things that kids nowadays really like and get hyped with. We spent a lot of money on new jerseys, 3 new jerseys, 2 new sets of game pants, a new offensive line chute, new agility bags, new hand shields. So you name it, we went all out this year to try to show them we're all in with them. And, we got their back, they're going to have our back, and we're going to go and play one game at a time and see what happens at Mulberry this year.
Coach, you got me hyped. The uniforms look good. I seen the field last year. The field was fly. I seen how the school set up. That's fly. Everything looked good. You got everything in place. So I don't know how they feel about them uniforms, but them things fly. Did y'all get the players together and y'all, the seniors or somebody, and talk about how y'all want it? Or you just got together and say, boy, them uniforms so clean, we finna pick them right there?
He got us all together and the seniors decided on the uniforms, the record, the designs and stuff.
So, and I gotta ask, Coach, because you got me in my feelings how fly y'all look. Now, I love y'all helmet last year. Y'all still rocking that, or y'all switching that over?
No, we changed that too. We went from the blue helmet. We got an all white helmet with a royal blue face mask and chin strap with the block blue M on the side. It's gonna look dope too. I mean, we're rocking everything out, trying to change the total culture of Mulberry High School. And we've done a great job. The coaching staff, I couldn't have asked for better effort from them. I've had 6 coaches that have been there every day this summer. Myself and our OC, our offensive line coach, our defensive line coach, our linebacker coach. I mean, they put the time in with the kids, and we've really built some established relationships that we think is going to carry over to the football field. We're excited. A lot of good things happening at Mulberry High School, and Again, it's a nice little place for game day atmosphere to come and enjoy a game, but you know, majority of the big games on our schedule this year are at home, so it's going to be going on.
Coach, this is a question for some of your veteran players. How much did that offseason help you? You guys did a lot of things. You participated in events that you probably never had the opportunity. How much is that going to help you as a team coming together, being able to travel that way, being, you know, having that bond with one another, being able to trust one another, moving forward to this season?
I think it's going to help us greatly on the field with defense, offense, both in sync, and we just play good.
I feel just this entire offseason has helped tremendously with cohesiveness as a group, making sure pushing that narrative of family and focusing as a group and trying to make it seem like they look at Mulberry like, oh, it's a little place, them boys tough. So that's what we're trying to drive home. It's just family, focus on what we're trying to accomplish, put our name on the map.
Nice. I don't want to spend your money, but maybe you can get a T-shirt that says "All In." But
yeah, we sort of went with the slogan of family with the big accentuated M, block M in the middle,
nice.
And we put that in our weight room, and we're probably going to have shirts with it and that kind of thing. So our slogan this year is family, because you know you mentioned a couple key terms, you know, the cohesiveness, the chemistry, and that's our job as a coaching staff and these seniors to lead, to bring them together and create that chemistry. And if we feel like if we can do that, then we can have a special season and something that these guys can look back on as a senior. That's a different season than what Mulberry's accustomed to or expected to have. We're trying to change that.
Right. When you took over at Winter Haven and Frostproof, you were coming from another program. What are the advantages you have at Mulberry taking over as head coach? You've already been there, you know.
Well, I think, you know, I go back to my coaching resume, just about every job I've taken as head coach has been coming into a program that needed work, needed help. It was in a downward slide. It was, you know, when I took over, for example, Preston High, my first job at 25, I left in 95, and we had 4 consecutive winning seasons out of 5 there. They've had 2 winning seasons since in the last 30 plus years. Winter Haven was 2-28 when I took over the previous 3 years. They were struggling, and we were able to go 5-5, 6-4, 7-3. We made it to the playoffs, got to the Sweet 16, which is further than they've been since '74. Same thing with Frostproof. They had 3 consecutive losing seasons. We had a 7-3 season, and made it to 2 back-to-back Final Fours, going 10-2, and having to face Pahokee in the Final Four to not be able to get to where we wanted to get to. So been to 3 Final Fours. The state champion has beat us all 3 years. So I guess it's just being there and done that before. It's sort of what I've done in my coaching career, is be able to take programs and turn them to that side. But again, that all comes with great coaching assistants and some seniors that we've had this year in the far end. But the 4 seniors that are up here right now, I think, are going to be able to build off of that and create that chemistry and that continuity that we're talking about to lead this team to some good things at Mulberry this upcoming season.
Because you were there, I mean, how much ahead of the game are you implementing his stuff compared to if you were coming in fresh?
Yeah, that year last year when Coach Wells had me come over and be the OC was a benefit to me, to learn the coaches, to learn the players, to know, you know, what the players were about and their expectations and what we had to build on and change was very beneficial. Again, this gentleman said, you know, we made the playoffs and we did some good things last year. Being there to be a part of that and know what we have to do to take that next step has been a big help. You know, we've got to find a way to be in the ball game against our 2 big rivalries in our district with Fort Meade and Frostproof. You know, we had running clocks against them last year by the 3rd quarter. We can't allow that to happen. And again, I think the dedication of these seniors and the junior and the 25 juniors that we have, is going to build off that as well as motivate the coaches to not allow that to happen or try not to let that happen and try to change that. And then, again, just continue to get better and learn. Our offense will be the same as it was last year, so a second year into it definitely helps. Jermaine's played center in the spring. He's playing guard now. He's going to play nose guard and defensive tackle for us on defense. So Devin's changed positions, but the schematics and the scheme of what we're doing defensively, he understands. Tim's, played spring at Mike linebacker, now moved back out to outside linebacker. Hayden's transferred in and came back, was a Mulberry player before, is back home and coming back to Mulberry to finish his senior year, which will give us senior leaderships at the other linebacker spot. And then we call him Cool. Cedric down on the far end is a cover corner that can also play safety for us and do some different things, and maybe a return man on special teams and some stuff. So again, we've been able to evaluate players for a year now and maybe plug them into the positions we feel like they're going to be more suited to be successful. One of the big things I never do as a coach, I don't ask a kid to do something that I know they physically can't. And so we're going to put them in the best position they can be in to be successful and help the football team.
Coach, last year you started out 1-3 and then turned it around, ended up winning 5 of the last 6 to make the playoffs. Just talk about what it took to turn that season around and then how you kind of carry that momentum into this year.
Well, again, I think starting off that way, the key game that started that off was the Jenkins game. We've got to find a way to compete with George Jenkins and beat them and play with them this year. As far as we felt like we were in the ball game and had the team that could have done it last year, and we made a lot of mental mistakes as far as bad snaps, as far as critical turnovers and stuff. And I take partial blame on that when I called a play that if we continued to run the ball, probably would have tied it up in the third quarter and made it a totally different ball game. Instead, I call who the 3 previous plays. The kid was uncovered and he slid down, and then the quarterback hitched it and didn't throw it when he was supposed to, and the defensive back made a good break on it and took it to the house, and now it's a 2-score difference. So we've got to find a way to start off with the momentum that we finished the season with. But going back to your question, I think the belief in the kids' desire to want to be competitive and win, and just finding a way to do it. I mean, go back to the last game of the year against Parrish, we're ahead 30-14 at halftime, and they pretty much controlled the ball the whole second half and got it to 30-28 and have a chance to win the thing at the end. But our kids found a way to win because they knew what was on the line. We had to win to get into the playoffs, and we had to win those last 3 games to get into the playoffs, and they played well enough to do that. So again, I think the confidence in the kids saying enough's enough, let's find a way to turn this around and let's be on the winning side of the ball at the end of the game has been a big difference for the movement.
I got a question from LeBron when you're right, Coach. He looked locked in and focused with seriously. So, how important is this for you this season to put Mulberry on the map to be a headhunter for that linebacker position?
Well, I am a senior, so I got to put the team on my back no matter what. So, like you said, we got a lot of new pieces. We're ready to work. We've been working the whole offseason, so we're ready for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming. We definitely wish you luck. Again, we will be on the sideline this season. I love the facilities, love the jerseys, love the energy that you're bringing to Mulberry, Coach. And again, good luck, and thank you guys for coming.
Thank you. Go Panthers.
Appreciate y'all, boys.
Haines City Hornets, Coach Harrington. I'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Pat Harrington, head football coach, Hain City.
Francis. Jeff Cook. Mario Wilson. Chris Charlotte. Jamarius Knight.
And thank you guys for coming. Definitely excited to have you guys here. First of all, I want to start off with asking, what is the culture been like in the locker room, losing a guy to a D1 program like Chris Benton?
Well, the culture has been great. I mean, this summer, this off season, we've had the most kids out in the previous 2 years combined. We've been averaging about 48, 51 kids out this whole season with nothing but dedication, changed mindset, ready to work. They need me there. So, I mean, this whole off season has been lovely. Kids ready to work, don't have to ask them to do anything. They own it.
Coaches, I know one thing that I've been, did a profile with you guys a couple of weeks ago, and the one thing that you said is that everybody's buying in. And coming off a 4-4 season, but at the same time, you're returning some kids who are hungry, had an opportunity to get some experience. Talk about that, because I think groundwork last year where they know what to expect now.
Coming off a disappointing 4-4 season to us.
Right.
It was disappointing for us. We did play 2 games because of the weather. Lost to Winter Haven 7-6 without a kicker. But these guys here, they laid the groundwork for the kids that's coming in now. These guys here are unbelievable. Great leaders, great work ethic. I mean, you can ask for some better guys. We lost 5 linemen starting our offensive line, but we got some young guys that's going to step up. That's been coming every day to the weight room. Just been tremendous. So these guys here saw what could happen when we all buy in, and I think that's what happened this off season with our numbers. These guys have been on these underclassmen about our philosophy. No easy way. There's no easy way to win. There's no easy way to be great. You got to work for what you want. So these guys here have been on it, and they see what it takes to win.
Pat, of the on 10 in the 90s when you're talking about Polk County football, be Lake Wales, Lakeland. Haines City was always in the conversation as one of the teams to, other teams, be look out for. How hard has it been to, translate that to the players now on what Haines City, reputation had been at that time to try to build it back?
Well, Reed's Community High School killed us. That was the main thing. When they built the school too close. But like you said, I've been at Haines City since '96, and we had some great teams. And what we try to tell our guys is, once we used to get off the bus, beat people because we had so many great athletes. What we're trying to do now is just tell guys, hey, this is how it used to be. This is how the guys level, because they just didn't show up to win. They had to work too. But these guys here now, they're slowly buying into it, and they're seeing what can happen when we all get on the same page. And we got pieces now that's going to get us back to that level. We got a great group of young kids, great group of graders that came in, about 6 or 7 of them that are old Haines City type players. So we should surprise some people.
I'll ask this to the players if I can. What has been the off-season like? I mean, for you guys. I mean, obviously, the coach is saying 4-4 was disappointing. What have you guys have done to get over that hump and get into the playoffs?
We've been in the weight room, been working on the field, building the team to have a great season. That's really
Like you said, we've been in the weight room, we've been working out, we've been working real hard. I feel like this season we have a lot more commitment to the team than we did last. And like you said, last season we disappointed. It's not what we wanted, but we hung.
For your quarterback, coach, I know you mentioned this, losing a few guys in the trenches, but Samari got some game too. It's been kind of left out in that Polk County quarterback conversation. So What's this season mean to you to put your name on the map?
It's a lot of doubting going on. Just know I'm coming this year. So I got a good O-line blocker for me this year. Good.
For my fans with the mic right here, I lost your name, but just give your position and just talk about this season and some of the things you've been working on.
Chris Charlotte, number 4. I play wide receiver and defensive back. This season, like I said, we hungry. We real hungry. Everybody counting us out right now. They doubting us. I completely understand that. But just know we coming. We coming.
And you guys have a district, Winter Haven, Ridge, and Bartow, including Haines City, all with 4 lost teams. It seems like the team that will have less than 4 losses this year will, be the team to win the district. How do you guys approach winning the district championship?
By concentrating on us. We just got to play within ourselves, keep the mental mistakes down. We got a team that can win the district, but we've been counted out so many times. And like I said, I don't blame it. We were, before I took over the job, they were over 20. Nobody looked at it for anything. So it's going to take a combined effort with the coaching staff, the players, with complete buy-in and complete study of the game to make it happen. I like our chances. You got those 3 teams with 3 new head coaches. How are those kids going to work with the new head coaches? So we're the only consistent right now. So I like our chances.
How much of the coaching staff has been with you, since you've been back?
I have the same coaching staff, the same guys.
Because how important is that? Because when you look at go back to the '90s, you had the same group for all those years. These teams who would be successful seem to have that stable head coaching and assistant coach.
Man, that's one of the biggest things, man. Because you don't every year you don't have to learn new coaches, new attitudes, new nothing. So we've all been on the same page. We talk the same language. We coach the same. We coach our JV team. We don't have a separate JV staff. We don't do that. We want our JV guys to get the same knowledge, same language that we speak on varsity. We coach both of them.
For all you guys, we know everything is important, right? But it seems like is Winter Haven that game for you guys this season, or which one are y'all looking forward to?
It's Winter Haven for me. Yeah, we lost 7-6 to them, and it's Winter Haven for me. I don't know what it is for these guys, but it's Winter Haven for me.
So what about for you guys? What's the game that you guys have circled?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Winter Haven game too. Last year, when we lost on varsity, we went back on JV and beat them. So I hope we can beat them this year on varsity as well.
Definitely Winter Haven, they talk a lot of trash, so we gotta redeem ourselves from last year.
And Haven is the game for me too. We want to win it all. We win the district.
It wasn't even the game for me. I didn't get to play last year. So this year I'm sure.
And if you guys have any closing remarks, you guys have the floor. But I want to thank you guys for coming and definitely wish you luck this year.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
We are here for Lake Region. First of all, guys, good morning. Thank you for coming. I'll go ahead and let you guys introduce yourself.
I'm head football coach Ryan Mills, getting ready to start our second season there.
I'm DeWarren Reed. I play tight end and linebacker.
My name is Calvin Johnson. I play quarterback.
Devin Gonzalez. I play linebacker.
Thank you guys for coming. 2022, last year, Coach, your first season. It was Lake Region's best season since 2011, so in over a decade. How did you come and implement a new culture to have the best season in over 10 years?
That's a good question. I haven't been asked that question yet, so this will be an original answer. I think when you look back at when I got hired and kind of the, whatever you want to call the state of the program or whatever, I think the biggest thing we did is we came in and built genuine relationships with the kids. It's not to say the guys in the past haven't, but I think in my experience, they played, we didn't. It's important to hear from them, I think, what their take was on the program. And 9 times out of 10, I think when you do that as a coach, you're gonna kind of find out what you have in that locker room and what they think is important to win, which probably is pretty similar to those coaches. And I think the big thing that came about that is the locker room felt like maybe in the past people didn't care about them enough. And I think that helped us build genuine relationships. But I also think, you know, at the end of the day, right, we're trying to teach kids how to win. So accountability, communication, like all those things, those were things that were echoed. Did they fight us on it? Sure, it's this generation, it's gonna happen. But I think at the end of the day, once they realized that, you know, the staff we had cared about them, and we were there to help them achieve what their goals were, I think it was easy for the buy-in in the program to change the culture pretty quickly to, you know, go out and have a successful season like we did last year.
Gotcha. You're located in Eagle Lake, directly in between Bartow High School and Winter Haven High School. What is it like going up against those guys for kids, and how is it challenging to keep kids bought in when you're surrounded by 2 programs like that, or make kids want to come to Lake Region when they're in 8th grade?
I'm trying to be politically correct here, right? Last year we didn't have an issue. Nobody wanted our kids. You know, we win this year and you hear grumblings or you hear rumors, I guess, is the best way we can put it. I guess the best way I can answer that question is, I think all of us coaches for any sport in the state of Florida realize that this state, due to laws, which we have no control over, has a transfer portal, right? Let's just be honest, has a transfer portal. I guess the way I go about doing things and the way I encourage our staff to go about doing things is care about the kids in our locker room and not about the kids someplace else. We can only control what we can control in our program. And, you know, I'm an old school college coach. Did it for 17 years at all levels before I came here. So I kind of believe in the whole, I hear something, I'm gonna contact another coach and just, hey, I don't know, and I'm not accusing or anything like that, but I just heard. Again, I think for me, I'm just to the point in my career where I'm looking for a job to retire. I am not looking for another job this is a notch in the belt thing. So for me, I'm born and raised in Iowa. I'm an Iowa Hawkeye fan, had an opportunity to play there. You learn real quick in the Midwest, like, this is what you got. So you develop your kids and you pour everything into your kids and your program, and, you know, and that's kind of what we focus on, you know. Whatever any other Polk County schools got going on, that's their business. I worry about our business and our kids every day.
Coach, this for your players, how are you guys feeding off that attitude? I mean, you have a coach who's going to bat for you, you know, at every level. There's somebody who's played collegiately, who's coached in college football before. What is it like for you guys to have a coach that's going to stand up for you and watch your backs?
Mainly it's our attitude and the way we prepare for things. So the way we practice, the way we go about ourselves in meetings, all that matters. So when it's time to play, whatever it is, we give it all we got.
I agree fully with Juan on everything he said. When the coach tell us to do something, we do it. How we go about practice, we get the job done, work hard, get better every day.
It's working. You have a winning season, right? So,
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with them too. I wasn't here with them last year, but since I've been here, like, I understand what he's saying and all that, and everything that he said, we listen to, and we get to work basically. So, yeah.
For all you guys, man, like Landon said, Lake Region can be kind of left out in that whole county talk. But you guys got some talent on both sides of the ball. Take a look at that roster. So, how important was it in the spring? You got to get that chemistry going, and how excited are you guys moving into the fall?
Like you said, everybody, they doubting us by the name of our jersey, Lake Region. You know what I'm saying? But how I take it, start me on the field. You feel me? Start me on the field. That's how I see it at.
I still don't understand why they sleeping on us, man. We work hard, we do what we gotta do, we win games that we supposed to win. And like the one said, they gotta stop him first.
I mean, I don't really care what they say. So, but they could do all they talking and all that. But we just gonna come to work when it's the time, and we're gonna come different than we did whenever. So they could just keep doing all that blabbing and all that stuff. I don't really care.
I got something for the quarterback leader, man. Like I said, you kind of under the radar quarterback in Polk County. So what's some of the things you've been working on, whether that's footwork mechanics, getting the timing down with your tight end and your receivers? What's some of the things you're working on, brother?
Main things I've been working on, my mechanics. I gotta be sharp on my mechanics, my arm slides, my reads, working on reading coverages every day, working with coach, sitting in the office, just doing that, get my mindset right for when I step on the field to make those plays that I need to make so we can win games. And at practice, just working on my fundamentals, like sticking to the basics, knowing what I know, doing what I do. That's pretty much it.
One, you got some of the best receivers, stats in the county. So how important is this fall season to generate some interest around your recruitment?
Work, basically. I work. Even when nobody looking, I'm working. So when I come to practice, it's time to work. When it's time for game time, it's time to play. And a lot of people, they don't got the ability to do what I could do. So I go out on the field and show it. It's all on film so everybody can see it for themselves.
Right, you come in last year and you got to build a relationship with the players. You got to implement your program, on the field and off and all that. Having that, and then you end up having the win of the season maybe last year. What kind of an advantage is it coming into this year? What has it allowed you to do this year that maybe was slow last year or something because of everything else?
I think the best way you can answer that is the kids, like, they know what they know. They saw success, right, with the culture, the change, and everything like that. So it's the little things, like you're not going to the weight room every day and dealing with someone's attitude because, they're just not used to a culture, right? I think any coach in this room, to answer that question, that would be coming off the success of the season we had, would probably say, you don't have to repeat the same message over and over and over again every day. It's the culture's set, the standard is the standard, not to borrow the cliche, and everybody kind of knows what we need to do and what we need to get done. And you're not, like in my experience, college and now high school, if you don't have success day one or year one,
then everybody, whether they want to admit it or not, is questioning things. And then you're fighting fights that aren't going to help you be successful. I think the minute that you can have success, you can establish a culture of winning, but then you can openly challenge everybody in the program that, 6 wins isn't good enough. So we got to go out and find a way to get 7, get 8, get 9. I don't think you deal with people questioning you on things because you're coming off stuff that works that they know, and it's easier to buy into the change in the culture.
But I also think the big thing is with this group of kids, because you spend time building genuine relationships, y'all just heard it. These guys feel slighted. I'm gonna just guess, I'm probably the only guy they've had as a coach that tells them, use the chip on your shoulder as the reason why we need you to do the things we need you to do so you can be successful. And I think, just speaking again of my program, I think that identifies with every kid on our roster. That mentality of us against, the world, and what do we got to do every day to be 1-0. And I think that's helped us with just changing the culture. And like I said, this year so far, just we go out and do it instead of having to explain why we need you to do this. Successful.
Got you. If you guys have any closing remarks, you can go ahead. We definitely appreciate you guys for coming. Definitely wish you guys luck. Best jerseys in Polk County, in my opinion. That Carolina Bush is different. But again, good luck, you guys, and thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all, man.
You out of here?
Yeah, no, I really want to know. I don't know. Okay. I don't got enough. I'm talking about YouTube. For real? Good morning, good morning. We're here with the Ridge Community Boats. I'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourself.
Coach Tate.
Lon. Mike McDaniel.
J.J. Caesar.
Mark Michelle.
Coach Tate, this is your second stint at Ridge, third stint?
It's my third stint.
Third stint at Ridge, household name in Polk County. What drives you to keep going every day and still connecting with the players today?
It's just the kids' love for the game. You know, it's sometimes we get labeled as old school or this or that because you've been doing it for a long time. But really, my Ridge has never changed. And it was 35 years of getting up every day, getting to go to a schoolhouse, having a positive effect on some kids' lives. And again, not making them good football players, but making them good kids. And so it's going to be a decent product in society, and know how to be a father, know how to lead a family, know how to get a job, know how to work, sacrifice, and all the things that we do as coaches. So that's what drives me. I just love being around kids. I love seeing improvement. I love seeing them come to the ninth grader and be some skinny kid like Sonny was. And then all of a sudden, he's a product. He was a young kid at Castelline, didn't want a camera in his hand. And I let him be a part of the football program, and he's been doing it for 25 years now, doing a tremendous job. So those are the kind of things that drive me. Just love kids, push kids, and get kids to see. A lot of times we see what they don't see themselves. To push them, to keep them striving to be great is what I love to do. So that's what drives me. And Friday nights, right? Friday night in Polk County. Yeah. Getting out there, bringing that fun, flying around, having fun. So that's my story.
Cool. Now you gotta tell us about these uniforms now.
The uniform's kind of fresh now.
Yeah, they clean. Now you gotta talk about that now.
Okay. So we just trying to revamp the program a little bit. Like this is my third stint, and we're coming back with some great kids, and they've been through some things. I think I'm their fourth head coach already. So some of these years have been through, seeing kind of the bad side of sometimes the coaching and the program stuff. So, I just want them to know that we love them, care about them, and going to take care of them, give them some nice uniforms, and go about business.
So,
Coach, you're an OG in Polk County, man. Right? Know that. Besides the jersey, man, what's some of the things, you got plenty of experience, what's some of the things y'all been working on to build that chemistry with these players?
It's just the, same principles, man. Just come to work every day. I believe in hard work and dedication, and I think through that, the kid, create a bond, and it can't be broken. And the day is a little tougher. Kids are looking for this and that all the time, and it's, so sometimes we're faced with that on just how hard you push, how hard you grind, how hard you push out there. But I know to win football games in Polk County, you better be doing some old school and hard, or it ain't gonna happen. It ain't all about laughs and giggles. Every Friday night, someone will challenge you, and you better be ready physically. So we've been doing that, working hard, and just trying to build that team chemistry like everybody.
Coach, when you first started, obviously, Rich Community was a bunch of trees and open field. Davenport was baseball city. This was a long time ago. How have you kept up with the times? I mean, there's a lot of people that don't understand because you're an old school guy and you don't tolerate a lot of things that, that the old school coaches did. Has that been a reason for your success? Because you've been able to keep up with the times and understand that things aren't going to be like they were?
Yeah, I like to think I've learned, through the years on how to handle certain things, even though, if you have old school principles, that does not mean you're not keeping up with what's happening football-wise.
Sure.
We got one back stuff, we got spread, we got this, we got that. So old school, to me, the mentality is like exactly what you're trying to produce on the field at times. It's just the way you want to play. But I'm glad you brought up Ridge Community, and the time I've spent out there. I get a little bit frustrated at times. I don't think people give us quite the respect and the due that we deserve. Okay, the school is just now 18 years old. Okay, I've been the coach there 8 years the first time, and 3 years, so I think it's 11 years total. I've been the head coach at Ridge Community. Okay, in that time, we've been in the playoffs 5 times. 2 times district champs. We beat Lakeland out there in the district championship game in 2012. 3 guys in the NFL, 1 guy with an 8-year career, 4-year career, another kid scored 10 touchdowns as a rookie. Again, one time, probably one of the proudest moments was Vince Williams and Mike James, one with Miami, one with Florida State. One of the biggest rivalries in the country, and they were both captains on their football team when they played in the Orange Bowl. So there's some things we've done at Ridge that have been tremendous, and they're going to continue to be tremendous. Okay, we have great kids out there. That's why I keep going back to Ridge. There's no other community. It's the first coach to have. So it does have. It's like your baby. You have a little more love for it than you would at another place. So that's where I'm coming from on that.
I got a question for you. Any one of y'all can answer the question. One of the players don't matter. Y'all heard Coach talking about the great club Ridge had, Carlos Williams. You got his brother played at with the Steelers, and then you had Mike James. I know Ridge every year gonna have an explosive player on offense. Who's gonna be that player this year? Because I know y'all lost Ridge to Lakeland. So
me.
Okay, what you gonna do?
I'm shocked out boys, man. Trust.
What position you play?
Wide receiver, safety.
Okay.
And keep the mic. You'll transfer yourself. We have Life Walking Sports in the building back here, South Florida guy. What's better, Polk County football or South Florida football?
South Florida football, that's different. About tries, about all that. But here, it's different too. Here, I fuck with it here. I really here, I like it. North Miami Beach.
Okay.
Sir.
Dave.
Sir.
Coach, what do you see the biggest difference in culture during your different stints at Ridge?
Nothing's really changed as far as the coaching and the stints. I mean, the school and communities have changed. I mean, when I first got there, we used to call ourselves the Children of the Grove because it was orange groves, and now it's it's full of houses everywhere. The school's a lot bigger. We're close to 2,400 kids as opposed to the 1,800 we had when we started. A little bit different culture. With that growth, we've had different. It's kind of an international type school out there. We got a lot of kids from every walk of life, from every nationality you can imagine, and a lot of those playing football. So that's changed a little bit. Again, just with our growth out there. But pretty much the same. Kids show up and want to get loved on and get coached up and go to work.
Coach, you've had a number of experiences out being in the program, like a first-year head coach, with Kathleen at Jenkins, at Ridge a couple times, at Bartow. That first year you come in the program, what are the biggest challenges have you found?
I think the biggest challenge is really the belief factor. What I think kids are always looking for leadership and looking for what this guy can do for me. What's this coach all about? Are we going to get better? Are we going to get worse? So listening to Coach Mills, I mean, he wasn't much different than most of us think about it. He tried to establish something where you have some success so the kids will believe in what you're preaching. It's hard to be the man and to do this and do that, and you can't win football games you're supposed to win. That's it.
Is there anything you do different as far as like how quick you put stuff in, or something like that? Because you maybe go, well, that doesn't work, or something like maybe.
No, I think y'all base it on what you inherit. You know, when you get out there and you get to practicing, you see if we don't have a technique, if we don't have the basics down, then we got to go back and spend a lot of time on the fundamentals. If the team is far long enough to implement and start running your offense and defense, and you know, it's a little bit faster. But you know, that's the way I go about it.
What's been the toughest first year?
What has been the toughest first year?
Kathleen, Jenkins, Riggs?
Kathleen.
Oh, yeah?
Kathleen was the toughest when I went there. It was, you know, it is what it is, but it turned out to be great. So that was, you know, again, Kathleen was Kathleen. I'm a Ridge boy now, so I don't want to talk about that.
Coach, you got a few skill guys up here, but what's the trenches look like this year for
Trenches are, hey, that might be our strong suit.
Yeah.
Mark's just, yeah, let him answer that.
I like our trenches this year. We big, mean, and rough. We. I see us winning every battle versus every team this year. No losses in the trenches. No losses.
Offense, and defense side?
Both sides.
Both sides? What's the name again, brother?
Mark. Gotcha. If you guys have any closing remarks, you can go ahead. But I want to thank you guys for coming out and wish you luck this year. We're going to show you Polk County football better. Thank you for having us.
Good luck, Rich. Jersey clean, man. Jersey clean.
Okay, Anna B. How does Britannia ever let you go?
What you play, 10? You did? You that good? I can show you good after this.
Because like you're not going to do like you're going to do like quotes. So I'm going to do a story on like visualization. And so if you don't mind, if I can use a picture of your sister. I already have the number.
Good morning. We have moved to the main stage. Let you guys go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Eddie Gavins, class of 24.
Richie Marsh.
Tristan Ward, class 24, linebacker. First of all, thank you guys for coming. Definitely excited to have you guys here. Coach, you're a long-time name in Polk County. Like I just asked Coach Tate, what keeps you going here in Polk County and brings you to work every morning to Coach Prosper?
Well, this is home. I'm from Bartow. I was born and raised here. I graduated from Bartow and thought there was no place on earth greater than Bartow, Florida. And so Polk County's always held a special place in my heart. I've been away for 25 years. But there's a lot. I feel like these are mine. I feel like this is. I'm just so blessed that the Lord gave me an opportunity to be back because I think this is a special place. I really do. I think Polk County is kind of like my people. You know what I mean? It's like when Nehemiah went back to Israel, that was his people. This is my people, and I feel like that's how I feel about Polk County and Frostproof.
Last season you had a 10-win season, went to the playoffs. How do you guys build on a successful season like that?
Well, I'm new to this. I wasn't a part of that. I think they did a great job. Obviously, they needed a year like that for a long time, and they had a phenomenal season, they had the coaches there were frost-proof guys, and I think that thing ended a little prematurely, in my opinion, and I think that the guys here think the same thing. So it's Polk County football, right? Polk County football is a part of championships, in my opinion, and they're part of the playoffs, and every team in Polk County is usually one considered when they talk about who's going to be there in the end. And so we just, I know it's going to be a lot of hard work, but we're believing that we can restore Frostproof to a place like it was, like Coach Brandon built it to be. I mean, when Coach Brandon retired, Frostproof led the state playoff appearances. And so, or he did as a coach there, and we had a phenomenal run in the 90s, and it was great to be a part of that. Everybody likes to be a part of something special like that, and build off of last year. Hope that's what we can start back and live those days out again personally.
I got a question for you, Coach. I know this is your second stint back at Frostproof. I know that this is gonna say nothing. This is gonna be said a lot. Do you see a Travis Henry type player there? And I know that's probably the greatest you played at Frostproof, but do you see that type talent at Frostproof right now?
Well, Lance, I don't know if anybody saw Lance Leggett at Bartow either. And I'm serious. I mean, look what you went and done. I think that's right. I believe that, and personally, I tell these guys, I don't think that Travis was that much more talented than everybody else. I truly don't. I just know he thought differently. I know that I would pass the field on Sundays, and like you and some of your teammates, and he would be out there working. He'd be out there pulling tires by himself in the Florida sun. And so he thought differently. And I think when you're in a place that is as talented as Polk County, and you have players that are willing to think differently, and that's a big thing now, because I think, Lance, since you played, I don't think that has, to me, in my opinion, I think that has decreased. I think it's still true that the players who work hard and invest and commit, they will rise to the top. They will rise to the top. And I think some of that's been lost. And that's what we're trying to instill. We're trying to preach every day that still works. Those players that are willing to do what y'all done and what Travis chose to do. And if you have players buy into that and work like that, I don't know if there'll ever be another Travis Henry, but C.J. Hudson came behind Travis and finished third. He was third in the history of the state of Florida behind Willie McClendon and Emmett Smith. When he graduated. And how many times you hear C.J. Hudson talk about that? He followed Travis in that. Travis had that phenomenal season that Derrick Henry went on and obviously broke that record. But I still believe those guys are around, yes.
Coach, obviously, I'm probably the only one in the room that remembers when you were here before. And
you're a legend, Larry.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I know that.
But
I'm glad to see you're doing good too, health-wise.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate that. And I don't know how these guys feel, but they're awfully lucky to have somebody like you, because you have a lot of great values. You're very knowledgeable, and of all the great players that have come through Frostproof, and we didn't even mention Alvin Harper, who is obviously one of the best. I still remember the game against Trinity Christian in the state championship game, where Trinity came in as the highest scoring team in the nation, and Frostproof beat them 6-0.
Shut them out.
To me, of all the games that I've ever seen in high school football, and I've been doing this for 53 years, that was one of the most memorable, because it showed the heart of Frostproof, smaller town, against a large city school like Trinity. How much of that is still instilled into that program?
I don't know, but Roy and I were talking about this the other day. And in my opinion, I know where you're from, Larry, but I don't want to disrespect that, but Polk County, football-wise, Polk County's legendary. And the teams that have come out of here are legendary. And again, there was not a year that ever went by that when you started talking about who do you think would win this classification, and the Polk County team wouldn't be mentioned. And then last year, y'all had another year like that. I mean, Polk County had another year like that. So it would be phenomenal for that to return. There's still a lot of blue-collar people here. And Frostproof, we're talking about that. Is there still a lot of blue-collar people? The community, it's in the 5 months I've been back, is as hungry now or hungrier than they ever were the 9 years I was there before.
Yeah.
And I believe it's because, you never know what you got until you don't have it. And I know they went through some years where I know Coach Matheny had some good years in there, and Coach Benton. But when it's not continued, when it's not, everybody expects that every year. When that doesn't happen, I think people get hungry for it again, and I think they're hungry for it again in Frostproof, and I think that's what we're talking about every day. Build on that, like Polkway said in the beginning. We want to continue what they started last year, and hopefully it'll be like it was once. Like it was once again.
Yeah, Richie, about 20 years ago, you replaced Ferris Brandon going to exactly this time. What feels the same, and what feels different about taking over Frostproof?
What feels the same is we went to camp for a week last week in Georgia, and we took our whole team. In the beginning, the first 5 months I was with our team, I thought, wow, we're a little different. They tend to listen more. They tend to be a little more compliant. And then we went for a week, and I said it's the same Frostproof kids we coached back in the 90s. So that feels the same. Coach Brandon's obviously there. He's like my father. I grew up in Bartow and went through a bunch of situations, and Coach Brandon's like one of my dads. So he's there. So we get to build on that relationship more. And that's special to me. A lot of these guys, his dad was our fullback on the '96 runner-up team. So a lot of the guys I coached their fathers, and they're wanting to do whatever they can to help. And what's most special is, like I was telling Colin how proud I am of him, is going back and seeing these guys be fathers and be a part of these kids' lives. And so many of them didn't have that when we were there the first time. And so that's what I feel about.
Obviously, you have so much more experience. You have 30 plus years.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
I was a dummy.
As I say, you look back at that first year, and how did I do it back then?
I don't know how I did it. I'm looking over here at two guys that, I've made a million mistakes, and I need to write a book on the mistakes you can make in a coaching career, and I just hope to finish building on learning from some of those experiences. This is 31 years for me, and I feel like I'm 21 back in Polk County again, learning how Polk County does things after being up there for 25 years. So hopefully I'll be a little better football coach than I was the first time around.
Is it harder taking over Frostproof after coming off a state title like they did in '92, or what they did last year? Or is there any...
Listen, I'm from Bartow. We won it in '86, and I played for Paul Quinn, who was the winningest coach in Florida history at that time. So I wasn't, the only reason I was the head coach at Frostproof after Coach Brandon retired is because all them older guys didn't want to follow a legend. And I wanted some more of what I grew up knowing, so I said yes, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was blessed that I had phenomenal players like Travis that helped us succeed. Yeah, I didn't deserve that. I don't deserve anything, but I surely did deserve that.
Yeah, so obviously you kind of feel much more prepared coming into this year now.
Yes, I hope I can correct some of the mistakes I made the first go around.
Coach, when we something that changed my life. And I said, yeah, he said that, I ain't going back. So when you saw us from January through the time that we played in that spring game and going through the summer, did you know that we was gonna have the year that we had going into
Well,
the season?
you know, Colin, this is 31 years for me. They asked me the other day, what specific years do you remember? And your senior year is one of them. I believe I made some mistakes as a coach that cost us a chance to play for it that year. With that being said, there's only 3 years that I've ever coached that I can say, I know this is different. Now, we're new to this with these guys.
Right.
But that was one of the years because if you remember what happened with Andy that night in the baseball field when there was so much respect in your group, so much respect for each other. And that's another thing now that, you know, then if someone wasn't doing right, y'all would call each other out. And I told these guys, I just left and I hadn't seen it even in Georgia where football is so much different, but it was quick that if a player would do something wrong and you try to correct him as a coach, he'd come back to the sideline and he'd get the buddy-buddy system. Well, y'all weren't like that. This team right here is like that. And Frostproof as a whole wasn't like that when I was there before. If somebody's not getting it done and he comes back to the sideline, the team, and this team will let him know, you're not getting it done, you got to step it up. And that's at the highest level, and Lance can tell us that's what makes great players. I believe that's what makes great teams. And so I'm blessed that I'm seeing that at Frostproof now, where it's not, because that can kill you now if you come back and you're not getting it done and your buddy pats you on the back.
Yeah.
But if you got one of your peers, which y'all had, calling you out, and which this team is not afraid to do, now you can get better.
And I have a question. I have a question for you. A lot of Division I prospects, especially on the defensive side of the ball, have came out of Frostproof. Cecil Cherry, Khalil Gaines, most recently Antoine Cobb at FIU. How do you feel like you've been preparing to fill those shoes and be the next Division I prospect on the defensive side of the ball at Frostproof?
Well, me and my dad, we've been trying to hit up a lot of colleges and stuff, you know, going through the process. I've been trying to work out with a lot of training with my coach, Will Milligan. He's been training me with a lot of, you know, workouts, getting me right for the season. All this.
Well, if you guys have any closing remarks, you can go ahead. Definitely want to say thank you and good luck to Frostproof. I was excited to see you guys in spring. It is a far drive, the furthest part of Polk County, so definitely look forward to getting back out there this season.
I want to say this to you, and Sonny and Larry and all that. With, you know, I kind of felt like in Polk County before I heard Coach Tate say it. I didn't think Polk County was respected back in the day, like it deserved to be with the players and the teams that came out of here. And today, 2023, with what you do, what Sonny does, what Larry's been doing forever, what the coverage that these kids get, so much greater than what those got. And I'm so blessed that y'all do what you do for the benefit of these guys, because they deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good luck this season.
Tell them I said, how you doing? Thank you.
Good to see you. I got you.
Good afternoon. We have Avon Park taking the stage. Glad to see you guys here, and I'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourself.
Head coach Lee Albritton.
Carlos Fuente.
Alexander Roman.
Brother Green.
Josh Maury.
Tyron Nelson.
To get started, you guys are in District 2S14 with Clewiston, Hardy, and Lake Placid. How do you guys feel about taking a step forward and being, the team to be in that district?
Yes, sir. We've had a good summer off-season program. We've had guys come in that have just worked extremely hard, giving great effort. We're looking to take that next step forward. We were in the game with Lake Placid last year. We kind of let it slip away in the fourth quarter, and then the Clewiston game has kind of always been an Achilles for us. But we're looking to make that step this year with just the work we put in. These guys have been dedicated all summer and in the off season through the spring. So we're looking to make that step this year.
And I kind of want to piggyback off that. You mentioned, those were close games. 4 out of your 6 losses last year were about 2 possessions or less, but more importantly, 3 were about 1 possession, 1 score or less decided half of your losses. How do you correct that and go the extra mile to win those games?
Yes, sir. So we had 3 games where we had a lead in the fourth quarter. Lake Placid, Parrish, and Frost lead in the fourth quarter, and they slipped away, whether it be a mental mistake, a physical mistake. So that's been our focal point for the off season, eliminating the physical mistakes for sure, but then just creating some mental toughness where we can withstand some of those pressure situations and we can overcome them and hold on at the end.
Coach, obviously the mark of a team that's on the way up is what you do in the off season, and I saw a lot of your kids all over the place over the last couple months. Talk about that, and if you want to let the kids talk, how valuable this off season has been pushing you towards 2023.
Yes, sir. So that's one of the big things I can say about these guys, and not just these guys on the stage, but within our program. They take it upon themselves to do that extra work outside of what we do as with team activities, going to camps, working with personal trainers, different things like that, getting together in 3 or 4s and working on their own. And that's kind of the difference we've seen. This will be my 4th year, as the head coach, and that's the biggest difference I've seen this off season moving into this upcoming fall season.
As a team, we have more leadership than ever. We've done a lot more chemistry within each other during practice workouts, more during off time when we're not together. We could say we're becoming more disciplined as a team as a whole. We're starting to take more responsibility and showing more dedication to the program.
To piggyback off that, your track and your wrestling programs have been very successful. And you have a lot of kids that are multiple sport. Talk about that, because I think that's important as well.
As a wrestler myself, and I've played many other sports in school, I can say coming off of football and taking what I've carried from football over to other sports like wrestling helps a lot and it improves more with my discipline and stuff like that. And being there at football and then switching to other sports can actually help a lot more, especially in positions like wrestling. Just keeping certain things done.
The girls can wrestle too.
Yes, sir.
Coach, just where you man to the right with the chain on, bro. I see you shining, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, you're an O-line guy. Just talk about that group. You guys have had a couple good running backs the last couple of years. Talk about that trenches unit, man.
We definitely did lose a lot in
coming into this year with our line, but our younger kids that are coming up, they push really hard. They've been working really hard, and we've been able to get them not quite to where they need to be yet, but they're working really hard to get to there. And I think we'll have a really good running season this year.
The O-line gonna shine like a tank?
Yes, sir.
Obviously, Avon Park is a smaller market school. You know, you guys essentially grew up together from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. How does that help you guys, you know, on the field on Fridays, being such a close-knit community?
I think with being together all those years, we have more chemistry and we know how to work together. So it's easier to translate it from whether it's in school to in the weight room to on the field.
And it creates a brotherhood that, you know, just doesn't start in high school. It starts way back when they're playing in City League together. If you look back through the years, I know there's a City League coach, former City League coach sitting in the back of this room that took kids to the, if I'm not mistaken, the Super Bowl, to some of the NFC Championship games. And a lot of those guys they're feeders into our program. And so one thing that I'm trying to do as a coach is to keep Avon Park High School as a desirable location for Avon Park kids. I want the Avon Park kids to stay because they've proven in their previous years they can win. So my goal as a coach is to create a desirable program for them to stay, be a part of the Avon Park Red Devil legacy. And that's my goal outside of winning football games. That's what I want as a coach for Avon Park High School and for the kids that are in this program.
Just for all you guys, you know, Sauer lost in the season against Lake Region. And we know every game matters on the schedule, but which one do you guys got circled and which one matters this season?
Our final game against 4B.
Clewiston for me. I really want to get a win over them.
I would say the Parish game, we were so close to winning it last year, but we let it slip at the end. So if we were able to get that win, it would be a good mark for us.
I'm out to say the Fort Meade game will be the best, like the most personal one.
Yeah, I'll go with it for me too, because we lost a lot of players over there. And just a lot of it personal.
And so what are you guys' expectations for the postseason? Do you have playoff expectations this year?
Yes, sir. Like I said, our ultimate goal is to win the district, and we feel like we've made some strides this offseason to overcome that hump and make a run for the district title. That is our goal coming into the season. And I truly believe in these young men and the ones that aren't with us, but that have been with us throughout the summer. I believe in them wholeheartedly. I know they can do it. It's just a matter of putting it on the field at this point.
And if you guys have any closing remarks, you guys can say anything you want. We're glad to have you guys here and definitely wish Avon Park good luck this season. Can't wait to cover you guys.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Good luck, y'all boys. Thank y'all.
They won't be too happy about it.
Let's sum it up.
Right there. He was. He was sitting there. They're next. It was great. So great to see Richie. I'll tell you that. Yeah. You know?
All right, Lynn.
Good morning. We're here with Lewiston Tigers, and I'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourself.
Daniel Mata. Sadler Souls, offensive lineman, class 25.
Xavier Charles, cornerback and receiver, 24.
Warren Campbell, class 2024, receiver, corner.
Jamel Ray, class of 2025, receiver.
Coach Andrew Powell.
Coach Powell, how are you? Thank you for having you guys here. You had a district with Hardy and Avon Park who just left the stage. You guys were in district championships. You guys won the district championship. How is the culture right now looking to repeat as district champions?
We had a tremendous spring and a challenging summer where we worked hard and pushed ourselves to the limit. So we're looking forward to the upcoming season and continuing to be district champs and everything of that nature.
You guys started off 0-4 last year, but it's an asterisk by that because then you went ahead and won the next 5 games. How do you avoid a slow start like that and continue that momentum that you had at the end of the season? How do you carry that over into the season and avoid an 0-4 start again?
Well, we just got to start faster. We got to come out ready to play a lot faster, and play with intensity and trust each other. It's all about team chemistry and building on our slow start and then our strong finish.
Yeah, I know you mentioned you guys won the district, but you took a tough loss to Bishop in the second round. So how has that motivated you guys in the offseason, and what's some of the things you've been working on as a team?
Personally, I took that Bishop Road loss very hard. It was a very difficult game. It came down to the wire. We lost by 3 points, lost by a field goal. Coming into this next season, I'm enjoying the fact that they may be in our foreseeable future when we go to the playoffs, get our revenge and our lick back. I just hope we have a good season up until that point so we can make it in the playoffs and be district champions yet again, but I do hope we can do that again.
Sadler, I know you worked extremely hard in the offseason. I watched you at a lot of events, and you did a tremendous job. And being part of an offensive line that is improving all the time, talk about your leadership, because that's important on a program like this. They look at you because of your experience, because of your talent, and the colleges that are looking at you. What leadership does on a team like this?
Yes, sir. Leadership is a very important part of our team. I believe we have a few leaders up here on the stage right now that have been very influential. As an offensive line as a whole, we have 4 returning starters. We have a young offensive line. I think we're going to come back here, DJ, Louis, all of us. We've been working hard this offseason, trying to grind and get better as a unit. So I feel like my leadership, I've been here since my freshman year. I've been playing since my freshman year. I believe that I know the ins and outs of this program, and I believe that I'm one of the leaders on the offensive line because I'm one of the leaders on the offensive line. So I got to be able to use that leadership and influence my guys, play better, come out the gate stronger than we did last year.
And you said 4 of your guys on the offensive line returned, and a couple of those guys, and you also said that you guys are young. So you guys have most of you are 2025s and have another year after this season. How are you looking to carry over from this season into your senior year as well?
But into my senior year, I'm actually really excited. My offensive line are 25 because the offensive line is the base of the team. You need the offensive and defensive line more than you need any other position.
Chemistry, man. It it's important in this game. What's some of the things you guys are working on in the off season, whether that's workouts or whatever it is? What y'all been working on?
Off season, we be working out. Thankful to Coach Powell having 3 o'clock to 6 every day, working out, running. We'll run first, go lifting the weights, then go run after. Then me as a leader of my skill group, I'll go get my quarterback and let's go out, run some routes. Let's go throw some routes. Let's go work on footwork. Let's go throw on air, do what we got to do. Sometimes we'll do a little 7-on-7 to, get better as a team. And then not just the starters, we'll get everybody. We want to make the teams fair. So me and him will always be on the opposite side of the team. We'll never be on the same side, just to get better and to craft each other. And by linemen as well, they always do their thing. He controls his lineman group and he always makes them the better as they can be. Weight room is where you live at. I like it. This year been a very great year working in the off season. My senior year, I'm just ready. Just trying to go play, honestly. That's all. And I know my teammates as well wants to play. And I know this is my senior year. They got 1 more year, but I know they want it back just how I want it, as if it's their senior year.
And so how do you lead a group of young guys like you're surrounded by? You're the only 2024 out there? Oh, gotcha. So it's 222, but most of the guys, you guys overall have a young team. How do you guys lead the pack and keep those guys locked in and sold on the culture?
We try to not to get on their level, but we try to stay as on the top and not be so close-minded and not be so playful. We try to make them get on the level of a varsity level so they won't be so playful. And come game time, they're always ready. And we know we lead by example. Because if I sit down and do what I want to do, I know that he's going to think, oh, it's okay to do because the leader on the team is doing it. And as a captain, you can't take the plays off, you can't take breaks. You always got to be first and can't go back on your word because what you say you're going to do and you don't do it, it also hurts you and hurts the team because they're going to follow in what you do and not what you say. And you always want to lead by example. And I think my coaches from my whole high school career taught me how to lead by example. And I feel like I'm a great leader as well. He's a great leader. He's a great leader. And everybody on the stage is a great leader. I feel like everybody brings their 111 to the field, or how many players we got on the team. Everybody brings their own part to play.
Which unit you excited about, Coach?
As being a former lineman myself, I love the trenches. So that's the unit that I want to push, thrive, because I know when it's all said and done, that's what drives any football team. And no matter what system that you run, if you can't block nobody, you can't beat nobody. So I'm all about the trenches.
If you guys don't have any closing remarks, you guys can, have the floor, say whatever you want to say. We do thank you guys for being here, and wish you good luck on being district champions again.
Thank you for having us too. Yes, we appreciate the opportunity and enjoying it and loving everything about this aspect, and we're happy to be here.
And coming from the furthest away too.
We'll appreciate y'all doing that. Good luck to you.
Thank y'all for having us come out here today. It's a very great opportunity to showcase ourselves and show that we are ready for the season coming up. And I'd like to thank my team, for getting me here today. I love them to death. I always put my team first. And every Twitter post, I always talk about my teammates. I don't say me, I did this. I talk about my teammates first because without them, like Coach said, without the line, without the trenches, the game would not be won. And I know I did some great things in the game, but they did just as good as I did. And the only way to win the game. And without them, we wouldn't be here today. And I love my team to death, and I'm just ready for the season.
Well said, well said.
Just want to say that anybody that step on the field with us is gonna be a dog fight. Leave it at that.
Like it.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We have Auburndale Bloodhounds on the stage. I'll go ahead and let you guys introduce yourself.
I'm Coach Kyle Sasser. This is my 5th year at Auburndale.
My name is Elijah Diaz, and about to be my 2nd year at Auburndale.
My name is Nate Gabriel. I'm going to be a senior at Auburndale.
My name is Jason Pritchard. I'm going to be a junior at Auburndale.
My name is Sammy Etienne. I'm going to be an upcoming junior.
My name is Kevin Everett. I'm going to be a junior at Auburndale.
Thank you guys for coming. Coach Sasser, you guys went 5-5 last season. How are you looking to build on last season and have a better record than last year?
Yeah, sure. Last year, as you can tell, most of these kids are younger guys. We got a 10th grader, 3 juniors, and 1 senior. So we were very young last year and had some growing pains, I think the fact that they went, and competed in the games that they did as young kids is only going to help us. The year before we were very senior heavy. So last year we had so many underclassmen play. This year they're a year better. So I think that the best way that we can build on that is just kind of learn from it and just remind them, hey, these are the mistakes and these are the pitfalls that we had last year. Let's learn from that and move forward and then fix those mistakes. So that's one of the things that we've been kind of, as a staff, just echoing to them throughout the off season, into the spring, and then through the summer. And they start to listen, and then you start to hear them kind of say the same things to their teammates.
They often say that the team is a reflection of their coaches, and you were a dog in high school, and one of the best I've watched. Talk about how your energy and your knowledge of the game and how you played it has rubbed off on a lot of guys like Big Nate and players like that.
Well, first of all, I appreciate that. Thank you. I agree, kind of the messages and the mannerisms that you have as a head coach, you are going to reflect in your kids one way or another, whether it's good or bad. I would like to think that, some of the good things have rubbed off. I think probably the biggest thing that they've understood kind of from me is how important practice is. That's one of the things that kind of we focus on. It's like, you have to be here. My coaching staff, guys, you got to be here every day, because if the kids see you're not there, then why would I listen to you if I'm a kid? So that's one of the things that kind of we preach. It's like, we got to be here and we have to put the work in. And then from there, film study and knowing your opponent, I think has rubbed off. They watch a lot of film. We check the Huddle app and see how much time they log in. Most of the time, the kids do more time than we ask them to do. So I think that those things, as well as just kind of being smart, because I tell them a lot of times, the coach on the other side, he's not trying to trick me. He's trying to trick you. If I can get this linebacker to move this way, then it's going to open up a hole. So try to kind of convey that message to them is like, you got to be a student. You got to be smart. And how do you get smart? By doing well in school. It's all connected. So that's kind of one of the things that I hope that has passed on to them, is how you do anything is how you do everything.
And you were instilled when you were in high school with that type of coaching too.
Oh, absolutely. Keith Meyer was, they named the building after me.
Right.
I played for him, and I got the opportunity he gave me my start as a coach, and I learned a lot from him. And a lot of the things that we do at Auburndale are modeled after what he did in the early 2000s.
Sure.
And Coach, this is, like you said, year 5. You've had tremendous talent throughout your entire stint at Auburndale. You did bring a host of young guys, all Division I prospects, led by, of course, Big Nate in the middle. Aubrey Burks was recently named the second highest graded safety according to Pro Football Focus. How have you kept that culture alive at Auburndale to continue producing high-level prospects like Nate, Elijah, and other guys on stage?
Absolutely. The first thing to keep that rolling is those kids come back. Scooby is another kid. He was at the school yesterday, you know, and they just kind of show up. And Aubrey Burks, I think, how many times you guys see him in practice in the spring? Pretty frequently, almost every day. You know, so I think that that's number one, is creating a culture of a welcoming culture. Like, you know, yeah, we understand that you're moving on and you're doing great things, but like, come back and make sure that the younger kids are following in your footsteps. And the only way they can do that is if they see you. So a lot of those guys come back, and you're not just talking about, that's every level. You know, I've got an NAIA kid that comes to practice and just, I want to hang out, I want to be around the kids. And, you know, that is important to me, that the kids feel welcome, because a lot of times I use them as examples. You know, I'll say, hey, you know, Aubrey Burks did X, Y, and Z. Look where he is now. Like, if you follow the plan that we put in place, like, things will in most cases. So, you know, I think, like I said, culture of a welcoming environment for those guys and letting them know that they come back anytime you want. Like, it doesn't matter what we're doing.
I got a question for you, Coach. I know you got a couple stars up there. One of them boys will be a star on the team this year, but my star on the team this year is Lil Ruben. Man, you should have. I had coaching Ruben, man. That's why I thought you should have brought him here. How is he coaching him every day?
Ruben is great. You know, so he's gotten a lot of attention through media, newspaper articles, internet articles, pictures, and those things. And you know, to be honest with you, I was against it. Like, I didn't want him to take these interviews and this and that. And, you know, just kind of talking to him because, you know, I don't want him to. I try to treat him. He's the same as every kid, you know, and I don't want him to kind of feel a different kind of way. So, you know, at first I was like, man, Ruben, like, you know, you talk to these people, because it's not a joke. You know, he takes it serious and he works very hard. Everything he does, like, he doesn't quit. He's not afraid of anybody, and he'll step up. And, you know, the biggest thing for him, you know, is he wants to be treated equal. That's what he wants, and that's what he's going to get with me, because these are all my kids. I tell them, I treat my son the same way I treat you. You know, if my son don't do right in school, like, yes, I have. He got to sit, just like these guys. So, you know, he's not going to be treated any different. And, you know, but it's worked out for him. And, you know, he's got to learn advantage of the opportunities when they come his way, you know, because he understands that he is at a disadvantage. And when we call his number, yo, you got to make a play, brother.
Coach, when us media guys talk about some of the top whole county teams, Auburndale's up there for sure. We'll take a look at that roster. So what are the expectations this year? How far do you guys think you can go this season?
Well, I tell these guys all the time. First of all, I appreciate that. You know, just kind of recognition for our brand and our logo is good for our school and our town and our community, and ultimately for these guys. So I appreciate that. Thank you. You know, from there, I tell them is like, we're as good as you want to be. Like, you have to understand, from an offensive perspective, every play is designed to score a touchdown. Every single one. Like, nobody's out here drawing plays for a loss. Okay? So it's up to you. I can't catch the ball for you. I can't throw it for you. I can't block that guy for you. So one of the things that we tell them is like, we're as good as you want to be. Either you want to win or you want to go home. You know? So that actually, as far as expectations, might be a question for them, because I just run it, but it's their team. So I would defer to Nate Gabriel.
My expectations for this year, I expect us to, like, you know, ball out, win some games. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point, really.
Nate, while you have that microphone, I just want to share this story with everybody up here. Last year on a Saturday night, Nate Gabriel won the state wrestling championship. That next morning, he was at the Under Armour football camp and doing extremely good job, and I want to commend you on that. There's a lot of people that have never done that, and that shows a lot of character, and I congratulate you.
Thank you.
Nate, obviously it's a young, talented team, but as one of the few senior leaders on the team, what are you doing to kind of set the stage and make sure that young group is following in your footsteps and doing things the right way?
Of course.
What are you doing to make sure that they're doing the right things?
What am I doing to make sure they're doing the right thing?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Make sure they're not doing bad things during school. Just stepping up and being the leader, really.
I got to come to the spring game against Lake Gibson, which you guys won. Elijah, Jay Sean, you guys had phenomenal games. Sammy scored a touchdown, and you guys are the younger guys on the team. How are you guys going to carry over from spring and have a big season, especially Jay Sean missing time last season?
I feel like the spring game was like me coming back from like last season. Cause I ain't gonna lie, last season I did have a good year, but I feel like me playing the spring game and how I played showed everybody in a lot of like how I'm coming this season. And me coming this season, I'm coming like the proof, not to just be out there like I'm gonna tell you what my coach tell me and I'm gonna play on and I want to get better one day, hopefully be at the next level. So I'll let
Coming off the season last, I ain't get to play because I fractured my hip. But like the spring game, I feel it let me showcase what I could actually do in high school, so I didn't get the opportunity. Since then, to the spring game, like, and it been good for me. Like weight room, being better, coaches, everything, and going my way.
Yeah, I just feel that Arbondale, like, we just got the talent, the key part to what we need to like be great. And I just feel like we just need to keep working. Yeah.
When it comes to Pope, let's be real, y'all boys. The transfer portal get real, right? So what's some of the things y'all boys been doing to work on that chemistry, locking in together going to the fall season?
We're not really worried about that transfer, none of that. We just, with what we got, we work with what we got. And I feel like what we got is up there. And yeah.
What y'all do together, y'all? Sometimes y'all get together, play 7-7.
Yeah, work out with our group for the upcoming season.
Okay. Who's Shiesty Bob?
Who's that?
And I feel like people don't really they really down Arbondale, and I feel like for this upcoming season we got something to prove for real.
Now, it's been a question that floated. You guys took 2 losses to Lake Wells last year, one in the playoffs. They ended your season. Is Lake Wells a big?
Well, of course, it was going to be a big game because they coming off a state championship, so they got a high ego. But I feel like we're going to be able to knock them off and do what we got to do.
Like you were saying, they have came off the state championship, and the only way we can knock Lake Wells off is I feel like we all gotta come together as one. Like we all gotta be on the same page, and we all gotta like step up as older guys and make no mistakes. Because let's not make no mistake about it, Lake Wells is probably like one of the best teams that I stepped on the field with last year. Like they got everybody over there is decent. Like I respect everybody over there, but for this season, it's our season. And for this to be our season, when we step on the field with Lake Wells, it's gonna be a dogfight, but in the end we're gonna walk out with the victory.
And Coach Shasser, I think you guys have a bit of a quarterback competition. I seen you guys in the spring and most recently at the Polk County 7-on-7 tournament, split time. Talk to me a little bit about that competition and if you see a leader emerging.
Yeah, sure. We've had a couple of guys kind of vie for that spot. Quarterback is special because, the guy that you have there determines the way your offense is ran, the way essentially your team runs. You're supposed to be the face and the voice of your team, or at least your offense. It's not a secret. It's open. And we've been looking for a guy to kind of figure it out and kind of jump ahead, and it's an open competition. Now, in the spring it was more like, all right, let's see what you guys can do, and we're going to take turns, and you're going to get X amount of snaps, you're going to get X amount of snaps. And then in the county 7-on-7, I told him, I was like, yo, we got 4 games of pool play. Whichever one is playing better, whoever has the hot hand, that's who's going into tournament play. And then once we kind of finished that up, I met with them the next week and told him, I was like, yo, like, one of you is going to emerge. Like, this taking turns nonsense is over with, One of you has to either take it or going to get beat. So, we got Chad Williams and Amari Turner, who each of them is different, has a different style of play. Each of them has, their advantages or disadvantages for going with either one of them. But, ultimately, they're both decent players. They're both good. They're still, like I said, very young. Chad will be an upcoming 10th grader, and Amari will be an upcoming junior who, had limited reps last year. So, they're still both young, and a lot of them, they have a lot of room to grow, and both of them have upside. It's just about, who we feel gives us the best chance to win.
Well, we thank you guys for coming. Definitely wish Auburndale good luck this year. Hopefully we see you guys get a district championship and make a deep playoff run.
I appreciate you having us, man. Thank you guys. It's been great. So thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, y'all. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. That'll be the last one. Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes. We had several schools no-show, so we're going to catch up. Turn around and we'll better. Just tried to call Coach Smith. Went straight to voicemail, so. Oh, no. Let Coach Strick know. That's their AD. I see him all the time. For real.